Indigenous knowledge and sustainable forestry are two concepts deeply intertwined in the modern conservation movement. Indigenous knowledge is the traditional knowledge and practices of indigenous peoples, based on their relationship with the environment in which they live. Sustainable forestry is an ecological approach to managing forested landscapes that balances environmental, economic, and social objectives. Together, these two concepts provide insight into how humans can live in harmony with the environment while sustaining natural resources for future generations. Indigenous knowledge is derived from a deep connection to the land and the traditional practices of a particular indigenous group. It is often passed down through oral traditions, such as stories, songs, and ceremonies. It can also be seen in the cultural practices of indigenous peoples, such as the use of plants for medicinal purposes, the management of fish and wildlife, or the development of sustainable agricultural systems. The importance of indigenous knowledge is recognized in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which states that indigenous peoples have the right to maintain, control, protect, and develop their own cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, and traditional cultural expressions. Sustainable forestry is based on the principle that natural forests provide essential ecological services including the regulation of climate, the maintenance of biodiversity, and the provision of livelihoods for local communities. Sustainable forestry is often informed by indigenous knowledge, as traditional indigenous practices are often more in line with sustainable forestry goals than modern industrial forestry methods. Indigenous peoples have a long history of protecting and managing forests, and their knowledge of the local environment and species can be invaluable in the development of sustainable forestry plans. Indigenous knowledge and sustainable forestry are two concepts that are closely intertwined. By combining traditional indigenous knowledge with modern ecological management, humans can ensure the long-term sustainability of our forests and the health of the environment. Sustainable forestry, informed by indigenous knowledge, is a powerful tool for protecting and preserving forests for future generations.